Monster's school entrance was not just another family moment, it felt bigger than that. The conversation started with simple packing and preparation, but the deeper people listened, the more they realized this moment carried emotion, pressure, pride, and change all at once. Boxes filled the room. Blankets, sheets, air fryers, microwaves, snacks, clothes, and storage bins were everywhere. Everybody was laughing and joking, but underneath those smiles was something every parent understands. A child who once needed help with everything was now getting ready to walk into adulthood. And for a family that has lived so much of their life in front of cameras, this transition felt even more emotional because viewers have watched this young man grow up right in front of them. The energy around the situation was different because people were not just seeing a teenager going away to school. They were seeing the result of years of parenting, sacrifice, and growth. Monster is no longer the little kid viewers remember. He is stepping into a new chapter where independence becomes real. College changes everything. It is the first major step where a young person starts making decisions without parents standing over them every second. That reality hits families hard. Parents can laugh and make jokes all day long, but deep down, they know life is changing forever. The house becomes quieter. The routines disappear. The child they protected for years suddenly starts building a life outside the home. What made this moment stand out so much was how natural it felt. There was no screaming, no huge argument, no dramatic scene trying to force emotion. Instead, it was simple conversation mixed with real feelings, and honestly, those moments usually connect with people more than chaos does. People saw themselves in this situation. Many viewers remembered their own college days. Some remembered packing old bags into tiny dorm rooms. Others remembered their parents pretending not to cry while helping unpack. That is why the conversation became bigger than television. It became personal for people watching. Then the topic of the Range Rover entered the conversation, and suddenly, social media exploded with opinions. Some people immediately focused on the money and luxury side of things. Others focused on what the vehicle represented. But the deeper story was never truly about the car itself. The vehicle became a symbol. It represented success, progress, and the idea of parents wanting their child to have more opportunities than they had growing up. For many families, especially families who worked hard to change their financial future, providing comfort for their children becomes deeply emotional. It is not always about showing off. Sometimes it is about healing struggles from the past. A lot of viewers missed an important detail. The decision was not careless. Rules were checked first. Boundaries were discussed. That matters because it shows structure instead of pure freedom. Good parenting is not just about saying yes or no. It is about balancing trust with responsibility. Monster was not simply being handed independence without guidance. The adults involved were clearly trying to prepare him while still allowing him room to grow. That balance is difficult for almost every parent. Knowing when to hold on and when to step back is one of the hardest parts of raising children. The conversation also revealed how much parenting changes across generations. Older generations often talk about surviving college with very little. Small dorm rooms, cheap meals, limited money, and basic supplies were normal. Today, parents prepare differently. They buy extra appliances, organize everything carefully, and try to make the transition smoother. Some people criticize that, but others see it as growth. When parents have struggled before, they often want their children to experience less hardship. That desire comes from love. It comes from wanting the next generation to start life from a stronger position. At the same time, privilege always creates debate. Some viewers felt the situation looked excessive. Others felt people were being unfairly judgmental. The truth is that audiences often project their own experiences onto public families. Someone who struggled financially may see the situation one way. Someone who worked hard to give their children more may see it completely differently. That is why conversations around money and parenting become emotional so quickly. Everybody brings their own history into the discussion. What people sometimes forget is that growing up on reality television creates pressure most young people never experience. Monster is not entering adulthood privately. Every move gets discussed online. Every decision becomes content for public opinion. That changes the experience completely. Most college students get to make mistakes quietly. Children raised on television often do not have that luxury. Their growth becomes entertainment for strangers. Their milestones become headlines. That level of attention can create pressure that many viewers do not fully understand. Another thing that stood out was how the parents used humor during the preparation process. They laughed about old college memories, talked about how things were done back in the day, and joked through emotional moments. But laughter during big life changes often hides deeper feelings. People laugh when they are nervous. Parents laugh when they are trying not to cry. It is a way to keep emotions manageable, because if they stopped joking for a second, they might fully realize that their child is leaving home. The packing itself became symbolic too. Every item being placed into those bins carried emotional meaning. Blankets represented comfort, appliances represented independence, snacks represented care. Parents pack love into objects because objects can travel with their children when they cannot. That is why college preparation becomes emotional. It is not just about moving belongings. It is about parents trying to send pieces of home along with their child. The father's role in the conversation also showed something important. There was guidance without complete control. Checking rules, discussing boundaries, and giving advice instead of demands showed a shift in parenting style. As children grow older, parents slowly move from being protectors into mentors. They cannot control every situation anymore. Instead, they prepare their children to make choices independently. That transition is uncomfortable because it requires trust. Trusting a child to make smart decisions can feel terrifying, especially when the world feels unpredictable. Fans reacted strongly because this moment touched on bigger conversations happening everywhere right now. People debate modern parenting constantly. Some believe children should struggle more to build character. Others believe parents should use their success to create easier paths for their children. There is no perfect answer. Every family approaches life differently based on their values, experiences, and goals. What one person sees as spoiling, another sees as love and protection. The emotional part of the story became even clearer when people started talking about goodbye dinners and spending time together before the move. Those rituals matter. Humans create ceremonies around major life transitions because it helps emotionally process change. Farewell dinners are not just meals. They are moments where families quietly acknowledge that life will never feel exactly the same again. Everyone smiles, everyone celebrates. But underneath it all is sadness mixed with pride. There was also discussion about Monster spending time with friends before school started. That detail may seem small, but it actually represents another major life shift. During childhood, family sits at the center of everything. As young people become adults, friendships start taking on bigger emotional importance. Support systems expand beyond parents. Identity starts forming outside the home. That process is necessary, but it can still feel emotional for families watching it happen in real time. One thing viewers could clearly sense was the quiet anxiety underneath all the preparation. Parents always wonder the same thing before their child leaves home. Did we teach enough? Did we prepare them properly? Will they make good choices? Those fears rarely get spoken out loud directly. Instead, they show up through overpacking, repeated advice, and checking details multiple times. Preparation becomes a way to manage fear. The conversation around the luxury vehicle completely distracted some people from the real heart of the situation. A car cannot determine maturity. Money cannot guarantee wisdom. Expensive things do not automatically create bad character. The real measure of readiness comes from values, accountability, discipline, and emotional support. From everything shown in the conversation, there appeared to be strong parental involvement and guidance. That matters far more than material items. Growing up in public also changes how milestones feel for audiences. Longtime viewers have watched Monster grow from a child into a young adult. That creates emotional connection. Reality television builds a strange relationship between viewers and families because audiences feel invested in their journeys.